everybody. Welcome to the show. It's me, Matt Slick, and you're listening to Matt Slick Live. If you want, you give me a call. It's easy. The number's 877-207-2276. And you can email me at info@carm.org. Tonight, I plan to buy my plane tickets to go out to North Carolina for the weekend of the 15th, 16th, 17th. I'll be out there. I plan to stay Monday and or Tuesday, just depending. Fly back Tuesday night or Wednesday or something like that. Just depends on if people want me to come by, maybe meet at a restaurant just for fun. I don't mind doing that because I'll be out there. Don't get out there very often. I want to go to Winston-Salem and see the guys at the station during the day and sit there and stare at them and mess them up like a lunch or whatever it is. And so it's all up in the air. I'm going to buy open-ended tickets so I can change things if I need to at the last minute. And that's that. My wife will be going. That's why I'm able to go. And she'll be staying with a friend while I'm out there and stuff like that. So there you go. You see we're working it. And that sounds muy good-o. And all you got to do is pay attention to that, I guess, or go out there. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Let's get to Jermaine from California. Jermaine, welcome, buddy. You're on the air. That's right. We did, man. We did. What's up, buddy? You calling up for something, right? Sure. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Change happened with this gentleman that was just something out of a movie where he was very apologetic about how he was speaking. He said he wasn't quite sure where he was in faith, but he agreed with a lot of positions that the Christian church has. And he just, I watched God's grace, and by, church people being graceful to him, I watched it kind of change an attitude and change his whole perspective to the point where we actually talked for a good hour after everyone left, just he and I and one other person. And if you saw this guy, you would think he wouldn't speak to anybody. He was just looked like a craggly old man and just wanted to be alone. But and we just tried to invite him. I believe it's been a few years, and just showing grace to somebody, and
Sure.
and I guess kind of preaching without preaching, so to speak, really had a radical effect to where he actually wanted to exchange numbers. And next time myself or somebody else came, he wanted to meet us down there, just hang out. And so I really got, I got an example of what it looks like to not respond in the flesh, because immediately the first thing we wanted to say was, hey, watch your language and say something smart and flippant. But this man had bad experiences before, and he had a life that we hadn't lived. And sometimes it's like getting to the nut in a hard shell. You crack it with different things. And in my opinion, I just watched God's grace just melt somebody that really was hardened to the world. It was just a beautiful thing to see. That was the testimony. And I just you just reminded me when you mentioned fishing yesterday.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, it's a good example, of meeting someone with grace and kindness. And I remember, this is fictional, it's a novel, but Les Miserables, and I read it. It was humongously long, and I thought it was too short. It was so good. And they had a scene where Valjean, he previously they explained why he was so hard-hearted, injustices to him, and he had become a very difficult person because of all kinds of life patterns, mistakes, but things upon him. And long story short, he stole some candles, silver candlesticks from a priest at a Catholic church. This isn't to promote Catholicism, but this is how the story goes. And he got caught. And when he got brought back to the church of the priest, are these yours? And the gendarme said to the priest, "Are these candlesticks yours?" Or obviously they belong to the church. And the priest said, "No, they're his because they belong to him now." And Valjean was so stunned in the novel, so stunned by the grace that this man had shown him, he couldn't comprehend it, and it broke him in a good way. Anyway, it just shows you, it's a good illustration of what true grace really is and how it can change you. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, and I understand everyone has something different and unique as far as what will reach them, and it's just been my experience. You just kind of pray in that moment, and God, if it's time, if He wills it, He'll give you what you need for that particular person, and you just kind of plant seeds and get out the way and see what happens.
That's all you can do. But we need to be gracious and not legalistic. Sometimes we want justice when grace is what is needed. We want justice for others, but grace for ourselves. And our hypocrisy doesn't bode well with the Lord. So if we want grace given to us, it's fair to say that we ought to give that grace to Him as well. I mean, to others, but yeah, that's right. Good stuff, brother. All right.
All right. Well, I'll call in with the actual question tomorrow.
Oh, that was good, though. That was good. Good testimony. Praise God. All right. Wait a minute. Wait. Somebody.
Thank you for the opportunity. But...
Yeah, that's right. Where are you in California? Oh, I remember now. I got to call somebody. Where are you in California?
I'm in Northern California, around San Francisco area.
Okay. Just checking. I'm looking to
right into the heart.
Be a heart of the beast. Okay. All right. Well, I was just thinking out loud on something else. Okay, buddy. God bless, man. Thanks a lot. All right.
All right. God bless you.
Okay. All right. Now, let's get to Jim from Iowa. Jim, welcome. You're on the air.
Yeah, this is sort of an opinion question. Opinion on when did the different races start or begin?
There aren't any different races. I don't understand.
No, I mean the blacks, Chinese, whites, that type of thing.
Yeah, there's only one race, the human race, and
I know that. Well,
okay.
There's a black race, a white race, a Chinese race.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just trying
to begin somewhere.
Yes, I'm understanding, but there's only one race, the human race. The different skin colors started what we'd have to say after Noah's Ark, because mankind was wiped out. So however long that was, what we find genetically is that the children of Noah had sufficient genetic information for all different heights, colors, body sizes, etc., in their gene pool. And as they dispersed across the land, then the results of environmental pressures would result in different skin colors and heights. So it turns out that the dark-skinned people are better in equatorial regions. Light-skinned people are better in higher latitude regions. And it turns out that the eyelid fold has something to do with desert sand. I read an article on it once, and it helps with that. And so anyway, so if you're in the equatorial area and a white guy, so to speak, is born, he gets sunburned very easily. Melanoma, he might not live long enough to pass his genes on. But if you're dark skinned, you will tend to live longer, pass your genes on. So the lighter skinned people would just get wiped out. The same in the upper areas of latitudes, because you need whiter skin does better with getting sunlight in low angled sun, because there's less sunlight up there, for vitamin D, and you need vitamin D, otherwise you get rickets. So just stuff like that, and it happened after Noah's Ark.
So are you saying it's just a gradual thing?
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, it's right. Actually, you reminded me. Back in college, I had a friend, and I thought he might have been half Mexican and half what we call white. And we were friends and hung out, and for months. And then one day, I went over to his dorm, and there's this picture of him with a bunch of black people. And I said, "Oh, who's this?" And he goes, "My family." And I go, "What, are you adopted?" And he goes, "No, he's a black guy." I said, "No, you're not." Telling him, And he said, "Yeah, I am, but he just has light skin." And then I joked. I said, "Well, we can't be friends now that I know this." And he called me a jerk, and then that was it. We laughed about it. But the thing was, it was really interesting that he was born that way, which showed the different skin color. It's because the genetics was in his family line. It was no big deal. And
So,
yeah.
so I figured maybe it could have been at the Tower of Babel when God scattered everybody.
Well, it could be there as well, because the scattering geographically makes a big difference. It really does. I read an article years and years ago where I'm trying to remember the number, how many generations it would take before you get the black, brown, light, et cetera, skin colors pretty much dominant. And I think it's within 5 generations, depending on your environment. Theoretically, it wouldn't take very long. That's the point. So within a couple hundred years, yeah, 200 to 300 years.
Okay.
And then, and it's no big deal because, the black-skinned people are just better at being out in the sun than white-skinned people. But it's reversed, like I said, in higher areas like Norway and England, where you need more sunlight for them for vitamin D. But now we get it in vitamins and other things like that in foods that are all over. So anyway.
So what you're saying is if you took a white guy and put him in Africa, a few generations, he'd turn into a black guy.
Okay, well, no, a white guy would stay a white guy, but his children, if let's just say he has, let's say just for math, 10 children, 10 children, then the children are going to be born with different skin tones. Generally speaking, the skin tones the darker ones will do better in that environment. That's all. That's it. Now, because we've had so much, let's just say, I'm going to use the term here and tongue in cheek, inbreeding with the whites and the blacks and the browns and stuff, that in a large gene pool, they stay in that area. Then what happens is, generally speaking, the gene pool gets reduced such that in the equatorial regions, you won't find very many white-skinned people, just as you won't find very many dark-skinned in northern or way northern, way southern regions, and because of that.
I guess it really doesn't matter, but it's just sort of interesting,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's interesting.
How about this? So, didn't the Bible say that Cain had? Some of them had the mark of Cain, and that was a black skin.
No, that's stupidity. No, it's a mark to not kill him. Okay. It has nothing to do with skin color. All right. Okay, buddy. All right, man. God bless. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned.
May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Because the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And that is the voice of truth. Yes, God really loves us. But for a lot of people, our attachment to the past outweighs our commitment to the future. We have to stop looking back and start looking forward. The Truth Network encourages you to forget the past, face it, and move on with the love of Jesus Christ.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. I overdosed on heroin, and I lived. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. my desire to change had finally outweighed my desire to stay the same. I felt powerless for so much of my life. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. For the first time, I finally feel like I'm exactly where I should be, where I want to be.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The life of every child is precious beyond measure. If you care for a child with a disability and have limited income and resources, help is available. Children with a physical or mental disability or who are blind may qualify for monthly cash payments through the Supplemental Security Income Program, or SSI. The program provides help to meet basic needs for food, clothing, or a place to live, and disability-related needs. It's money that can make a meaningful difference. If you're the parent or caregiver of a child or teenager you think may be eligible, call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI Kids to learn how to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI Kids.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, it is easy. Just dial 8772-072276, and you can email me at info@carm.org, and put the subject line radio comment or radio question. Let's get to Bill from Idaho. Bill, welcome. You're on the air.
Hi, Matt. Can you hear me okay?
Unfortunately, yes, I can. What do you want?
So I was on a telehealth meeting with my doctor, and right at the same time, we got a knock on the door. 3 Mormons are coming over tomorrow, and so I didn't want to miss that opportunity. So we exchanged information real quick, and I don't have a scheduled time yet, but can you give me a crash course on what to say and how to witness to them?
Well, if you want me to come over, I can, but you're perfectly...
that would be awesome if you could. That would be awesome.
Yeah, just set up a timer where I can come over. But it just depends on how it goes. There's lots of different ways to witness to Mormons. One of the things I have done with Mormons is to destroy their testimony in the Book of Mormon. And it's easy to do because I have the 3,913 changes in the Book of Mormon, and I have my Greek New Testament, and I can lay them both out before them and show them how the Book of Mormon has been altered all over the place, and yet they have a testimony how true it is. When I say, why is it so changed? Why has it been changed in 200 years? It's just horribly. That's one thing. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it that day. They don't have any idea. But here's a generic way to witness to them. You get a lot of noise coming back there, buddy. I know you're typing this out, but it's pretty loud. So another thing is, and we can call on the phone later and give you some of this stuff. But another thing to do is there's an approach I use called the True Jesus approach. The True Jesus approach, because the Jesus of the Bible. This is what I do with Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses and others. I'll say, well, you agree with me that we want to get to God, right? And they'll say yes, and we have to go through Jesus, right? Yes, and the Bible talks about false Christs and false Jesuses. So, we got to make sure we get the right one. And they go, yeah, okay. Do you agree that the true Jesus is described in the Bible? They go, yes. Okay, good. So I'll say, well, the true Jesus is prayed to in the Bible. And that's John 14:14, Acts 7:55-60. And I'll say also in the Book of Mormon, in 3 Nephi 19:18, they did pray to Jesus, calling him their Lord and their God. And I'll say, do you pray to Jesus? The Jesus of the Bible is prayed to. Even in the Book of Mormon, 3 Nephi 19:18. And so I'll say, do you pray to Jesus? And they're going to be stuck. Now, some Mormons have said yes. And I'll move forward with them if that's the case. But they're not supposed to biblically. their doctrine doesn't say that they're supposed to do that unless there's been a change in it, okay, lately, because they change their doctrines from time to time. So that's one thing. I'll say, okay, so he's also called God. And I go to John 20:28, where Thomas said, "My Lord and my God," where in Hebrews 1:8, where the Father says, "Your throne, O God, is forever and ever." Now, they can say he's God because they say he's a God. He's just a God, one of several gods, and things like that. And I don't want to get too sidetracked into their view is called henotheism or monolatry. But henotheism is that there's many gods, they just serve and worship one of many. So that's their view. I don't want to get into all that and sidetrack them. I say, okay, who has the authority to forgive sins? Well, Jesus does. Because Matthew or Luke 5:24, and I said, good. And he has all authority in heaven and earth, Matthew 28:18, right? Yes, that's true. He says, come to me, and that's Matthew 11:28, and people pray to him. And John 14:14, Acts 7:55-60. I say, okay, can you pray to Jesus and ask Jesus to forgive you of all of your sins? Because that's what we want them to do ultimately.
Right.
Okay. And it's it's a simple approach, and it's not designed to be offensive. You're not there to offend them. We're there to work with them. Okay. And that's what we're trying to do. So, and for the most part, these are nice guys. And sometimes I'll tease them. You'd come in my house when I was in San Diego. Hey, want a cup of coffee or a Coke? And I'd smile, and they would smile because they knew, I was just joking around,
Right.
And so they know that I'm not out to get them. But I'd ask these questions, and then when I'd bring out my New Testament and show textual variants and show the Book of Mormon, how it's exceedingly altered, they're visibly shaken, usually visibly shaken, and I'll ask them. I'll say, you have a testimony the Book of Mormon is true, right? Well, which Book of Mormon? The one you read in which version? The modern one or the one that's the original? Because the original has been changed a great deal. So what are you believing in? And also, this is what I'll do sometime with them, because I think it's, where is it? Moroni 1:5. Where is it? Oh, man, I'll find it. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. That's James 1:5. They misapply that. And so you pray about the Book of Mormon, right? I'm going to find the verse to see if these things are not true, okay? And let's see. Hold on a second. I can find the reference because it's been a while, and I like to have them. And I got to refresh. I got so many things in my head. Moroni 10:4. That's right. Moroni 10:4. There we go. So pray about these things to see if these things are not true. And I said, did you do that? And they said, yeah. I said, what was the answer? That it was true. Well, wait a minute. Read what it says. Pray to see these things are not true. Did you pray to see if they're not true? And
that's good stuff.
They go, what? I go, well, it says to see if it's not true. So you had a positive response to the prayer that it's not true? And then they go, what? No, to see if it's not true. And they found out that it is true. But that's not what it says. It says to see if it's not true. They go, well, no, you pray for it is true. And then, it just depends. It's a word game like to have sometimes. And I'll tell them, I can see why you're saying that. But then why would you pray about a book? Did you pray about the Bible to see if it was true? No, it's just true because it comes from God. So why is it now you pray about a different book from a guy named Joseph Smith, 1,800 years later? Why would you pray about that? When the Bible, it never says pray about the Bible to see if it's true. It's just true. Are you verifying that God's word is true? Because the Bible doesn't verify its own validity. It just is true because it comes from God. It just is. He doesn't defend himself. God never defends himself. Look at me, how great I am, and this is why you got to believe in me, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just, hey, this is who I am, and you ought to believe. And he says to Job, where were you when I was creating? Where were you? He doesn't answer to people. But what the Mormons do is they want to subject God to their feelings because they believe and are taught that the Book of Mormon comes from God. Then they subject to the truth of it to themselves. That automatically will get you deception because you're not believing what God's word says automatically. You're saying, I don't know if it's true or not. I got to test to see what you say is true, God. The Bible doesn't say that. In James 1:5, if you lack wisdom, that says if you're lacking wisdom, it's already talking to believers, not unbelievers, about a book, about the knowledge and the truth that comes from God, about wisdom. Hold on. We'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned.
Here are the contest rules for the Truth Network. Prizes won are not transferable, redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other prize. All prizes must be redeemed from the station within 30 days of winning. Only one prize per household from any station of Truth Broadcasting within any 30-day period. The rest of our contest rules are listed under the About Us link at our website, truthnetwork.com. Thanks for playing and listening to the Truth Network.
The preacher said it. We couldn't believe it, but it's just what I needed to hear.
This is True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author and host of Truth Talk Live.
One of my pastors, Pastor Steve, said this recently from the pulpit. God will always put on you more than you can handle. And I thought, wait a second, that's not how this statement goes. But he followed up by saying, because then we fully trust in him. Just like 2 Corinthians chapter 12, where Paul said, your grace is sufficient for me because in my weakness, your strength is made perfect. You see, when we have things we can't handle, what do? We cast our burden, our cares upon him, for he cares for us. So get ready to depend on him. Get ready for more than you can handle because we have a God who can handle it all and take care of business. What a mighty God we serve.
Join Stu on radio, social media, and his daily Truth Talk Live podcast. Learn more at truthnetwork.com.
We all make promises, big and small, tested over time and distance, tried by circumstances and decisions.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I do solemnly swear to bear true faith and allegiance.
To help you when you're in need.
To tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
To be considerate and caring. Courageous and strong.
For better.
For worse. In sickness and in health.
To love and cherish.
To be your loving, faithful friend.
Partner.
Child. Parent. Neighbor.
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting maketheconnection.net.
Each word is a testimony. His word is always true. It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, 877-207-2276. Okay, Bill, you're back on, buddy.
Oh, I'm still here. No, that's I got the links to the articles that Laura put in the chat, so I have those bookmarked for later.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely want to connect with you like later on this evening.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss an opportunity. My doctor's like, I told my doctor, I said, hold please. And I went to the door and I came back and I told him what happened. And yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, let me know. We'll see if it works in the schedule, but I've given you what you need. And generally, when I go over to a place, I end up doing all the talking. And I always like when people they stretch and they challenge and they do it. Like the last time I came over at your place with that one guy, he didn't know what he was doing, and he left. But remember that was about a year ago. That's right.
Yeah, that was that Korean church. So
cult guy. What was it?
Yeah, it was, what was the name of it? Where God was a female. They feel like Mother God, and
that's right.
I forget the
Korean
name of it.
church God was a female. That's right. What is that? It'll come. Yeah, I'm looking on the web here, searching, and it's called. Yeah, that's right. World Mission Society Church of God. I remember that, and we have an article on it on Carm. That's right.
That's it. Yeah, because what my goal is to try it myself, and then if I screw up,
Not if. No, I say that not if. We all do always. So don't worry about that. Okay. When you mess up, it's just how it is. Me too. You just pray, you ask God to be there, you do your best. That's how you learn. Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited because I know God can use it. And normally I don't think I would have had the courage to do that. This time it's like He's been using me. It's like, no, I'm not missing an opportunity, because all they're going to do is just go down to the next neighbor with that. And so I want to.
That's right.
I want to prevent that.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good stuff, man. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. God bless, man. All right.
God bless.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, it's Bill. I've known Bill, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years now, I guess. All right, now let's see. Next longest waiting person is Mark from Connecticut. Mark, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. I'm hanging in there, man. Doing radio. Love it. Get to do it by God's grace. What's up?
Listen, question is Pelagianism and how it relates to like losing your salvation or semi-Pelagianism, Lord's salvation, that stuff.
Okay. Pelagianism is a teaching that babies are born without original sin, and that through their own free will efforts they can attain salvation. And this is a heresy. All the church councils, even through history, have condemned it. That addressed it. So we are born by nature. We are by nature children of wrath. Excuse me. That's Ephesians 2:3. And in Romans 5:19, it says, through the transgression of the one, the many were made sinners. So that is talking about us. And in 1 Corinthians 15:22, it says, in Adam all die. So that's what's going on, in that we do have original sin. The original sin is Adam's sin. That's original sin, is reckoned to us in that we were made sinners by his sin. That's Romans 5:19. That's what it says, that we died with him. So the idea of Pelagianism is just simply false. Semi-Pelagianism is the idea that you're just mostly dead, out of Princess Bride. Miracle Max is sitting there, and the guy's on the table. He goes, he's mostly dead. And so that's what semi-Pelagianism teaches, that you've been affected by sin, but you're not as bad as you can be, and you still have the free will ability to choose God. You become a sinner kind of later. It's really bad. It's really kind of milquetoast theology. All right. And and losing salvation. So what was the other question?
Well, how it relates, because if you listen to some Pentecostals, they'll say that you will stop believing, or if you're sinning, then pretty soon, if you don't have any more faith, you'll end up, losing yourself. You've probably heard it before.
Yeah. It's all man-centered philosophy is what it is. If you stop believing, because you are the one who's the final arbiter of your salvation, because you, in your wisdom, are the one who decided to believe in God. So you, in your wisdom or lack of, can decide to unbelieve and make yourself unborn again. It's just humanist philosophy. The Bible says that God grants that we have eternal life. Grants that we have faith, Philippians 1:29, and that from the foundation of the world, he chose us for salvations. That's 2 Thessalonians 2:13 combined with Ephesians 1:4. Well, if he chose us for salvation from the beginning, we're not going to lose it, because he's the one who redeemed us. He's the one who planned this from eternity past. But what these semi-Pelagians and full Pelagians like to do, generally speaking, they teach losers salvation, is that to say, well, you keep it by your goodness, your ability to remain faithful, et cetera, et cetera. It's just it's milquetoast theology. It's mamby-pamby theology of people who don't know biblical theology, what it actually teaches. And I argue with them. They surface every now and then, and I argue with them, biblically. No, that's what it says right here. You got to understand this, things like that. Okay.
All right, great answer. Thanks, Matt. You guys have a great night. I'll be listening still.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. God bless. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Charlie and Laura. Have a good.
Okay. All right. Now let's get to Nelson from California. Nelson, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So I have a question. I was actually studying some scriptures a couple of days ago, and I wanted to see if the same Greek word is the same in Mark 8, verse, I believe, 38.
Okay.
Where it talks about the word ashamed.
Okay.
And we'll compare it. So if you find that one, read that one, please.
Yeah, it says, whoever is ashamed of me, my words in this adulterous, sinful generation, the Son of Man will be ashamed of him. Yeah.
So that would not go in context with 1 John chapter 2, verse 28 and 29. Because they say the same word, ashamed, but I wanted to see what's the Greek meaning, if it's a different word.
Yeah, they're different words because the word shame doesn't occur in the Greek in 1 John 2. So it's what's called an implied, it's borrowed from the previous verb, not shrink away from him. And that's really what it's saying in the Greek there, not shrink away from him. And so the word shame, like I said, is just simply not there in 1 John 2:28, but it is there in Mark 3:38, and it occurs 11 times, the word shame, which is episkunomai in Greek. So, and I'm looking at the references of every instance it occurs in the New Testament. In the NASB, every one of them is translated into the English ashamed.
Ashamed, so, yeah.
But it doesn't agree in 1 John 2:8. It's an implied word borrowed from the verb from before.
Okay.
Shrink away. Okay.
Okay, so the one in Mark, that's the one that's basically people flat out just rebellion against God, correct?
Ashamed of, who's ever ashamed of him, whoever does not affirm him, shrinks away from him, says, I'm not going to believe in him anymore, or now things are too difficult, I leave him. That's generally what it means. Ashamed of him.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. And the one in 1 John chapter 2, 28 and 29 in context, that's referring to believers, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, but just so you know, the word shame there is not there. Yeah, it's in the Greek word iskunthemen, or from the Greek iskuno. It means to put to shame, to be put to shame, to be ashamed. So it's a different word. They have different words in Greek, like verbal and noun form. Like to act is a verb, actor is a noun, but they're of the similar kind of formation. And so that seems to be what's going on. I guess I haven't really done a really in-depth study, so I can't tell you. But it does have that meaning in it, in there. So it's not the same Greek word as in Mark 8:38. Okay?
Okay. And one last question about that. Not trying to read in too much into the text, but what is it saying that actually believers will be saved and will be ashamed because of how they're living?
You mean in Mark or 1 John? We got to break it.
No, in 1 John.
Okay,
First John.
Let me take a look at it during the break, and we'll get back. Okay, buddy? Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. You can give me a call, 877-207-2276. We'll be right back.
Everybody has a smile story, those daily moments of joy that make you smile, especially when you're a child like 3-year-old Zena. Her smile is as bright as her future. But there's something you wouldn't know about Zena. She was born with a cleft lip. which can make it hard to eat, talk, hear, and even breathe. And she's far from alone. A baby is born with a cleft every 3 minutes. This hurdle could have kept Xena from living her full smile story. Thankfully, she met Smile Train. Since 1999, Smile Train has helped millions of children like Xena find their forever smiles by empowering medical professionals around the world to provide cleft care in their own communities at no cost to families. Smile Train is working tirelessly to give every child with a cleft the opportunity to live their full smile story. Learn how you can help more kids like Xena at smiletrain.org/learn.
The preacher said it. We couldn't believe it, but it's just what I needed to hear.
This is True Commentary with Stu Everson, author and host of Truth Talk Live.
One of my pastors, Pastor Steve, said this recently from the pulpit: God will always put on you more than you can handle. And I thought, wait a second, that's not how this statement goes. But he followed up by saying, because then we fully trust in him. Just like 2 Corinthians chapter 12, where Paul said, your grace is sufficient for me, because in my weakness, your strength is made perfect. You see, when we have things we can't handle, what do? We cast our burden, our cares upon him, for he cares for us. So get ready to depend on him. Get ready for more than you can handle, because we have a God who can handle it all and take care of business. What a mighty God we serve.
Join Stu on radio, social media, and his daily Truth Talk Live podcast. Learn more at truthnetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes. Good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I see you finally got a new helmet.
I did. Bought it cheap online. Follow me. We'll turn off here.
I'm right behind you.
Watch the cars. They can be crazy.
Was this young man hit by a car?
Yes, and his helmet is smashed. It's a brand new helmet.
It's probably a fake. Fakes cause real harm. You're smart. Buy smart. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, 877-207-2276. Let's get on the air back here with Nelson. Okay, Nelson, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so you wanted to know about that verse, 1 John 2:28, in respect to losing salvation. Was that it?
I guess, yeah, we could say that. I could say that. What is it trying to say there? Without, I guess, for me, reading too much into it.
Well, it's talking about the eschaton, the return of Christ, okay? And so nothing in there says that they lose salvation. And what happens a lot with people, they'll find a verse like this, shrink away. See, it means you lose your salvation. Does it? If it means they're saved and they shrink away, is it because they haven't lived their lives in a fully sanctified way before their Lord, and now they're embarrassed? Okay? So it's a possibility. See, when I argue about things like this, I say logical possibility. I don't say, oh, this is what it means. There are different options that are logically consistent with the context. That's one of them. Yeah. Because we cannot lose our salvation, because Jesus says he'll lose none. And that's what he says in John 6:37-40. So it could be that John here, there's another possibility, that John is just talking to the group of people as a whole, that you need to walk with Christ and not be ashamed. And that, as I would say to others, check yourself to make sure you're in the faith, so that when he comes back, it doesn't bother you. So it's this kind of thing and possibility that is there. All right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to just get that perspective from what's, Yeah. But, all right. Thank you very much, Matt.
You're welcome very much, buddy. God bless. All right. All right. Now, Now let's get to Chuck from Ohio. Hey, Chuck, welcome. You're on the air.
Hi, Matt. I got a question for you.
Okay.
We used to go camping up near St. Mary's, Ohio.
Okay.
And it's the biggest man-made lake in Ohio, I think. But anyway, a lot of people probably don't know that across the country. But we used to go taking the kids up there, and on the way up there, close to it, I can't remember the name of the little town, but it was, I believe, the headquarters of a cult called The Way International.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I was just wondering, are they still operative today? And I can't remember the distinctives of what they teach.
Yeah, they're still around, but not very much. And it started by Victor Paul Wierwell. And it denies the Trinity, denies the deity of Christ. They actually have a book, Jesus is Not God. And they add works of salvation. It's a non-Christian cult. Yeah. They're headed in Knoxville, Ohio. Knoxville, I think it is.
Yeah, that's it.
New Knoxville.
New Knoxville.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't remember too much about it other than, there was a couple times we went camping up at the state campgrounds, and they would have their big get together, and we'd go right by there. And I couldn't remember what. I knew they were a cult, and I knew they had a lot of really, bad false teaching and doctrine, but I didn't really remember.
Yeah, I've had encounters with them. But their numbers, from what I understand, have diminished. My research here shows there are about 20,000 of them worldwide. They were as high as 100,000. So, when he died, they didn't have their guru to kind of answer questions. And so, and plus with the internet's really done a lot of damage to a lot of the cults, like Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Way International, Christian Science. People can go online and look up, well, what does this church teach? And they find stuff, and they're like, what? And so there are groups that, like my own group and other apologetics ministries that'll write about, and I have written on it, Way International, and exposes false doctrines, and people can read them. I go, oh, okay, yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, somebody just sent me a link with a photo. I guess this is fairly new, but because I'd never seen it before, but it was Walter Martin's Kingdom of the Cults, an audio book.
Okay.
I didn't know that had come out.
No, I didn't know either. Yeah, I had the privilege of studying under him directly for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, back in Southern California.
Yeah.
He was good. Oh, he was.
Bet that was really good.
It was. Yep.
Okay. One other question. I've got a really good friend that I've known for a long, long time.
All right.
And he really seems to love the Lord. And we don't get into too many disagreements, hardly at all. He was a neighbor.
Okay.
For many years, and when our kids were growing up. So this was like back in the 80s.
Right.
And he goes to one of the churches that I know the doctrine is not correct, but they call it Jesus only.
Yeah, it's a cult. Jesus only is a cult. It's a non-Christian cult. Jesus only cult.
They use Acts 2:38 as the gospel.
Yeah, and they mistake the idea of Jesus only cult is some call it modalist, but it's oneness. And what it means is that the name of God is Jesus, that there's no Trinity. You must be baptized in water in the name of Jesus in order to be saved. So they add works of salvation in the ceremony. They deny the true God. They deny really the true Christ, because though I might say some of them might have a proper understanding of a hypostatic union, they tend towards what's called Nestorianism. And I can get into all those details. So it's a non-Christian cult, the Jesus only movement. Yeah. Okay. Be willing to talk to the guy.
So basically, you would consider most of them would be lost.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. It's like saying if you believe official Roman Catholic theology, you can't be a true Christian. That's not to say that there aren't some actual Christians in the Roman Catholic Church. Likewise, if you believe official oneness theology, you can't be a Christian. You're denying the true God and you're denying the true gospel. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some people in there who might not really be saved. They just don't understand the truth. I believe God can save people in different levels of ignorance, and it might take them a while before they leave and become, let's just say, more educated believers. Okay?
Yeah. Well, sure.
I'd be willing, however.
Praying for him more.
Yeah, I'd be willing, if you want, you could arrange a conversation with him on the phone, and we three can get on the phone, and I'll talk to him, and I'll go to Acts 2:38. I'll show him what it is. You want to go to Acts 2:16. They want to go to Romans 6, 2 through 4. They want to go to 1 Peter 3:21. These are varying verses. John 3, 3 through 8, they'll go there about being born again, water, you've got to be baptized. And what I show people in the issue of baptism really upsets them because they've been so entrenched and so brainwashed into a certain view that when I start showing them things, they get very agitated. And so Acts 2:38 in the oneness groups is a pivotal verse that they misapply, misunderstand, and turn it into false doctrine. It's very common. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that that's not a definition of the gospel or what, the Great Commission and all
right.
that Jesus told us and how we're born again and everything. But it's just, we have talked about it before. His dad was I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he was a Baptist minister, and I think, there was some friction between them. I think, I guess he was raised different. He was raised right. I don't know all the details, but that's,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, How would I do that? How would I, if he would be willing to do that, how would I
just say, just very low level, would you be willing to have a discussion on this oneness stuff, the Jesus only stuff? If he says yes, well, we could talk about it, or there's a guy that of who is offered to have a conversation. He knows the doctrines really well, and knows how to answer them, can talk about Acts 2:38 and stuff like that. And if you're willing to have that conversation, if he says no, okay, then it's up to you, and it'll be up to you anyway to start studying. And you can go to my website and you can start learning on this, on oneness.
Well, I'd have to refresh on it because I'm 76, and I'd be honest with you, I can't remember all my references and cross-references and everything that I studied over the years. You
don't need to
for that type of thing.
You don't need to. You can print up the articles and just underline certain areas. Just underline them. That's all. Not a big deal. I've written them there so people can use them. Print them up. Put them in your Bibles. Put them on your phones. That's what it's for. And you can just do that. Yeah. And I'm also available too to have those discussions. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
You're welcome a lot. Okay. All right. Well, God bless. Okay.
God bless you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hey, folks, if you want to give me a call, it's easy. 877-207-2276. We don't have any time. We only have 2 minutes left in the show. Let's get to Chris from California. Chris, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
I'll try and make the question quick. I don't know if there's a real black and white answer on this, but before I truly started following Jesus, back in my late teens, early 20s, I prayed to God. I was raised in a Christian church, but was unregenerate at that time. I did not know what I believed or if it was true or anything like that. It wasn't until my mid-20s to where that actually happened. But I received so many blessings from God that I had prayed for. There was no repentance in my life. I was a very, very worldly person. But as part of my testimony, so grateful for all of the blessings in my life that I had asked for, and I give him all the credit for that.
Okay.
Does he hear or grant those, I was going to say wishes, wrong word, those prayers for those things, for the wife that I have and those things?
God is gracious to people. In Matthew 5:43-48, lets the sun shine the good and the bad, and the rain on the good and the bad. He blesses all kinds of people. So there's without excuse that God's grace isn't upon them. Of course it is. Now, of course, he hears every prayer. Does he answer every prayer? Well, no. He doesn't answer every one the way we want. Now, some people say, yeah, he does answer every prayer. Yes, no, or wait. Every prayer has an answer in those three categories. So, but with the unbeliever, does he really listen to them? Well, he knows what they're praying. And yet, in his sovereignty of grace and love, he sometimes blesses them in the work of his calling of them into the faith. And sometimes it's a blessing upon them. And as they reject him, even in the blessing, they'll be judged for that. So there's a lot of possibilities with that. Now, we're out of time because there's the music. So you have to talk about that tomorrow. All right, buddy?
That's good. Thank you.
All right, man. God bless. God bless. Hey, folks, we're out of time. May the Lord bless you by his grace. We'll be back on there tomorrow. We can talk to you then. So have a good one, everyone. God bless. Bye. Oh. There we go. Okay, now let's see. Hey, what's happening? That's funny. There we go. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh.
Hello? Now I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Can't. Hello? Nope. Nope. No.
Me now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
And no, I can't hear you. Hold on. Okay, now say something.
Something.
And now it's working.
Okay.
Yeah, my regular headset just doesn't want to connect for some reason. So I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it right now.
Yeah, it was interesting. This new program, you sounded absolutely fabulous.
Good. Did everybody else was saying the same thing? Hopefully.
Yes, and the caller sounded great. Even Jermaine, when he calls in, it's usually he's more muffled. He's hard to hear, and you could hear him just bright and clear.
Really? I could hear him. Okay. And so I don't know if they can hear me now inside of Clubhouse. Different headset, different thing, but
she says, Joanne says that she hears you.
Okay. Does he hear you though talking? Let me try this. Let's try this. That and that. Now let's see if she can hear me in there. Okay.
Did you hear me, Joanne?
Did you hear Laura speak? She just spoke. Did you hear her?
No.
No? Okay. Don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not going to really worry about it right now, but okay. All right.
Some good calls. Sounds like Bill's got some work set out for him.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Whew. Okay, I got a dog barking behind me out the window. Oh man, just neighbors' dogs. Once we had two instances. One dog, there's a house over back, and the guy would go to work, leave the dog in the backyard. It would bark and bark and bark, and I got so fed up with it that I wrote printed up a piece of paper on my printer. I said, "Can you please?" You go to work, leave your dog out. Can you please stop your dog from barking and barking and barking? And I wrote barking like 1,000 times, literally, just on the page. And I put it up. I went and put it up on the door, and the next day, problem solved. And then another time, a few houses down, they would leave the dog. Same thing. They would just bark at every car that drove by. I couldn't work because it was just horrible. I had to keep my window closed. I had the drapes closed. It would get hot in here. I couldn't enjoy. It was just ridiculous. And so I called up the police. And I said, "What do I do?" And they said, "Film it. Film the dog doing this. Film how bad it is, the times of the day, over several days." And I did. And had my camera zoomed in. You could hear it. I said, "Here's with the window closed. You can hear it. Here's with the window open. You can hear it." And then I had this idea. And I wrote up a piece of paper, and I printed it up and put it on their door. And I said, "Your dog barks incessantly during the day. And I've called the police. They told me what to do, and here's the procedures of what I have been doing before you get taken to court, before a citation's issued, and if it's not solved, the court date." I said, "I have filmed your dog barking constantly on different days for several days. I've got it with windows closed and open. All I have to do is give the information to the police now, and they'll come out. They'll send it to animal control, whatever it is. You'll get a citation. I have the proof. I'm willing to go to court. So this is I'm being polite. Please stop your dog from doing this during the day." Next day, done. Stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hearing the dogs out there.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, are you looking at the screen right now?
Yes. Which screen?
Okay, your our EV muck screen.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, watch, because I'm gonna put a new thing up there. Watch what it does. See that?
Ooh, that's pretty slick.
Right?
I like that. It is more gooder.
It is mooey gooder.
That's right. Ooh, I like that. Hey, look at this. Look what I can do. I can edit my name, company. Hey, look at this. I'm going to do this. www.carm.org. I'm going to put it in like that. See if it changes it. I don't know if it's going to change it or not.
I don't see anything.
If I were to hit refresh, I know what would happen, but I'm not going to.
Where's that transition thing that we were working with?
Hey, there you go. You see, it changed it. Carm mode. Let's see. Studio mode. Transition. Now let me try it. Let's see. There. Edit name. Position. Oh, position. I'll just say this. President. I thought it was like left or right or up or down. Title. Oh, interesting. Okay. Hey, how about this? 877-207. Whoops. 207-227. Hey, Slimeball. 276. Okay. Save. Maybe it comes in afterward.
No, you didn't transition though.
Yeah, it's not making a difference in the transition.
Oh, okay.
I don't see it. I know I could. I'm curious to know what refreshing would do. See if it knocks me out altogether. Yeah. This is how we're learning.
Right, and y'all bear with, have patience with us. We're
yeah.
Oh, Joanne's coming in.
Okay.
Okay, I just got a thing, so I'm trying to. Okay, so I'm wondering if we need to. Oh, there she is.
Yeah. No, she's in.
Yeah, I was asking people to come in and join so we can learn.
Yeah. So you're looking at different scenarios or how it's set up. Interesting. Oh, they have all kinds of different things. Oh, look at all that kind of stuff. Got a lot to play with. Okay.
Let's see. Can you speak, sis? Oh, she left. Oh,
what's that? No.
She left. I don't know what that was about.
All right. Well, there we go in the live. Someone try and come in so we can learn. That's right. A radio station has been down in Utah County all day. Thankfully, there's Rumble. Oh, okay. All right. That says recording. It says live. And 53. 4 on Facebook. 7 Matchlick Live. 14 in Carm Videos. 28 on X. See, that tells me a lot. Okay, good. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to try refreshing to see what happens. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's see what happens. Here it goes.
Yep, lost you.
Yep. I expected it to go out. I don't see the name change yet. Edit name. Huh, interesting. Position, logo. Is it just as resolution 800 by 800? Oh, the avatar. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that's a different one. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try this. Let's see what this does. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Here we go. All right. There. Don't know if anything's going to change later when we get out, get a new thing, but we'll find out. At any rate, so. Oh, I see. It's up in my name in the upper right, not in the bottom. Remove some from sin. See, scene. Back in. All right. Oh, interesting. If I remove from the scene, it still has me in the live preview. Ah, so I can add to the scene and do stuff. Switch things around like this or like this. All right. And why does it say X?
I don't know why it said X, because what I had clicked on for comments on the air, let's see if it shows me, it's showing it's from Facebook. So let me try a different one. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aha. So you're doing that. Oh, interesting.
But X doesn't show me any of the comments from X. So I don't know how that came up with X at all.
Okay.
So I'm only seeing the comments from Facebook and the 2 YouTubes.
Okay. Well, we're learning. We're just learning. Okay, good. All right. In that case.
Well, and I don't know if Joanne was having problems or if I did something weird with her. When I tried to add her, I don't know. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it then. I'm going to get going and go check on the wife and stuff. I think I'll get on TikTok tonight, maybe, probably in a couple, 3 hours. And we'll see. All right, everybody. Hey, it worked. First live show, we did it with this new thing. Good. See you, everybody. God bless.